It's a great day. My name is Jay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur, and welcome to the Happy Entrepreneur Show, the number one business development and revenue focused late night show in the country where we are on a mission. And our mission really is to empower. Our mission is to inspire. And our mission really is to provide you, that's right, you, the hard working entrepreneur, with all of the resources that are necessary to execute that big vision you have for the people you were called to serve. On this episode, we have the one and only Daisy. She's in the business, and she'll be talking about the transformation power of Boudoir. Whoa, it's more than just photos. What's going on, Daisy? How you doing?
Hello, Shay. I am so honored to be here. Thank you so much for having me, using your platform to educate people a little bit more about what we do here at the studio. Everything is doing well. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for being here. And thank you to viewers. Thank you for watching, by the way, because without you, we don't have a show. So thanks for allowing us to broadcast into your home or your mobile device or wherever you are listening during these challenging times we're living in this world. Quick question. I know we're talking about the power transformation of Boudoir, but people probably want to know, Shay, what does that even mean? I mean, I like it. Sounds good. But what's the definition of Boudoir? Please break that down for us.
Absolutely. I am a boudoir photographer. Boudoir is a style of photography that works with the intimacy. It works with that feeling that all of us have inside of, um, the empowerment that we need, um, sorry, Shay.
It's okay.
Just froze. I just froze. Can I restart that? Is that
Yeah,
okay?
we just restarted. Now go ahead. Tell us about Boudoir.
Okay. So boudoir is a style of photography that works with women and to show them how wonderful and beautiful they are. People come for different reasons, and when people ask me what really is boudoir, I think the easiest way to explain. Imagine Victoria's Secret, which is a very well known brand. So, boudoir is a Victoria's Secret style photo shoot, but for the everyday woman. So we receive here women of all walks of life. They can be your grandma, somebody that you cross paths with at the grocery store. It can be mothers and teachers and doctors, people that are every day out there. And these women come for different reasons. Sometimes they want to do something for their anniversary, to gift their partners, or they can also be coming for milestones they have accomplished in their lives, like maybe they just fight cancer illness, or they went through a divorce, or they just want to do this for themselves so they can be reminded of the amazing and powerful woman that they are, so they can live with this feeling out of this whole experience that we provide here at our studio. And they take this to their daily lives.
I love that, by the way. And I guess one of the questions I have, and someone listening might have as well, is why are people so fearful of getting in front of the camera? I mean, I know it's weird you and I are here, but we're normally like behind the scenes, right? So it's kind of weird for us to be right here now. But take a moment, and here's the question. How do you make people feel comfortable when they come into your studio? Because it can be kind of frightful getting in front of the camera and you're like, have no idea. You're looking at something and like, oh my gosh. How do you make them feel comfortable?
Absolutely. This is such an interesting experience. Of course, we're telling people like, come on over. You're gonna love this. This is so out of your comfort zone, but you're gonna grow so much from it. But when people come, like you have to imagine this, like you are literally asking people to be photographed on their underwear. Not necessarily that we have to do this 100% in lingerie. We can do dresses, we can do other kinds of, even costumes. But it is an out of your day, out of your comfort zone experience. So it is completely normal to feel that way. But there is a phrase that I like to use that says that a comfort zone is a beautiful place to be. It's a safe space to be, but nothing really grows there. So when we put ourselves out there, when we do something like this, it can be anything in life, but especially speaking about Boudoir, I want people to know there is a growth behind it. And people will leave this experience seeing themselves in a different light. And it does impact everything they do afterwards because they can say, oh, wow, if I did this, I can do anything, because I literally just went through this amazing experience and I got reminded of why I am who I am. Sure, I am a mother, I am a professional. Like we have all those hats that we as women we wear, but like who are you really? And that's the moment that you have that day to get pampered, and to do all those pictures and be reminded. So even on the hardest days, you can always go back to them and be reminded of who you are.
Said so well. And as you're listening now, someone might be over on your website. Someone's already Googling you, by the way. And there's someone else is saying, Shay, I have no idea who this person is. She's famous all over the world, ladies and gentlemen, but you'll find out who she is today, by the way. Here's the question. Take a moment, and folks want to know, what's your backstory? Like, what is her backstory that led her to doing what she's doing now? Because you speak with so much passion, so much love, and so much confidence. So what's the backstory? Who are you, number one? And what's the backstory that led you to doing what you're doing today?
Well, I'm different people. I'm still Daisy, but for different people, I'm different things. And I am a mother of three. Have my family, I have my company, but it wasn't always like this. My background, in fact, I was born in Brazil, and I went to the university. My bachelor degree is actually in logistics, with which you kind of feel like, oh, there's nothing to do with photography. That's when I kind of disagree with that because first of all, that mindset, the business mindset, is definitely what set me up for success. So back in Brazil, I went to get my degree, and I decided to come to the United States to learn English. I didn't know English. That was, I don't know, 16 years ago. I don't know, but I didn't know English. I didn't know how to speak. It was very difficult. So I came with the intention, and I was focused on learning English. And as I came here, of course, life happened. I met my significant other and all of that. But I definitely fell in love with the entrepreneurship. Ever since, well, I was in college, in fact, I already knew that I wanted to have my own business. I remember that professor one time asking, "Hey, where do you see yourselves in the next 5 years?" And I was probably the only person at that time that answered that I wanted to have my own business. I already knew that by the age of 22, 23. So when I came here, I had the intention to go back home and then just go and further my career. I thought that was missing English in my curriculum. But when I came here, I found that opportunity. First of all, I already loved doing photography. That was one of my passions. I was that person that went to a party and, with my little cyber shot mini camera, which was not even a professional camera, but I used to take pictures. And then it gave me so much joy to just share the pictures with, the friends and family. They were at the gatherings, for example. And when my daughter was born, um, I just wanted to capture every moment that I could possibly have captured from her. She was growing up fast. And that's when the little light bulb came. And I was like, what if I did this professionally? So I started following a few photographers, like they start hiring me. It was, I feel like photography is something that happened to me, even though I already had a mind business, but I knew that it was going to be part of me. I just knew, and it happened out of nowhere, I want to say. But yeah, so I started going with other photographers, learning the craft, learning how to photograph. And mind me, my English was getting better and better. And it was important for me to be out there on the field learning, because I started to figure out how to position people, how to adjust to light. So there's some technical things that I had to learn, and took me a while. But when I was confident enough, I opened up my business in 2005. And from there, it was just on and on. I did a little bit of everything. I did weddings, I did other sorts of events, families. And boudoir really was something that I was doing on the side. But it wasn't until 2020, when we had the pandemic, that I finally had the chance to switch. I was already trying to switch, but I was so busy with the other genres of photography, which kept me pretty busy. It was my breadwinner. And to be very honest with you, I was afraid of making the jump. I was like, what if people don't let me show their pictures? Or so I was just starting to self doubt. But it wasn't until 2020, when the universe put this whole pandemic, and I was like, okay, this is it. This is now or never. And then I finally made the switch, and in the same year, I was in love. Yes, of course, I had done boudoir before here and there, but it wasn't until I emerged into this whole business that I finally understood that this was definitely my call.
And here's what is very interesting. Thanks for being so transparent, so open with us. I'm curious. One of the things that I admire about your photography, I had a chance to see your work. It's more than just photography. She's capturing the essence of the person who she is you talk about love your body. And, you know, I'm 5'6", by the way. My wife says I'm tall, and we all have our own things. Like, oh my gosh, am I too tall? Am I too short? Too fat? Is this poking out? But you have this way of helping people embrace who they are today and feeling very comfortable. Were you always someone throughout your life that is still confident in other folks, or did it come through this path of doing media in your realm, which is photography?
No, I haven't been. I don't even know if I'm that confident. Of course, I pass this image, but there is always something we always can learn anytime. In fact, most recently, I went through the experience of doing a pageant, which I never thought I was going to do. I am 40 years old, and this beautiful opportunity came up with the Miss Corporate America, and I went there to represent my city, which is Frederick, Maryland. And for me, it was the most incredible experience, but I'll tell you, it definitely took me out of my comfort zone. So I believe that all of us are constantly working and finding things that we can better about ourselves. But it took me a while to also understand. First of all, I think we should do something that we love. And once I found my passion, I could understand how I am helping people, how I'm helping all those women that come here. So once I understood their stories, that they come for different reasons, and every single person that walks through my door, that is a lesson to be learned. And um, for me, it was a process. But I remember back in my teens, when I used to be very self-concerned, self-doubting even, about my confidence and about my body. I remember seeing all those magazines and thinking I had to be looking like the lady that was there, otherwise I wouldn't. So it took a toll on my mind, and I know I shared this experience with many women out there, and we still do this. We compare ourselves very drastically with other people, and that's not how we should be living life. Sure, that woman is beautiful, but so are you. And this is my message. My message is about loving yourself, loving your body today. Don't wait until tomorrow, or after you lose a certain weight, or you don't have to live like this. And this is my whole message. I want you to be enjoying, appreciating who you are, appreciate your body, appreciate your mind, because life is here, is right now. So if you just keep waiting to leave, you're gonna lose missing so many opportunities. And this is my message. My message is not about, oh, this woman here, she looks like a supermodel from the magazines, let's go take your pictures. No, in fact, I let me share one thing here. My oldest client, and by the way, I don't like to call my clients, I call them bombshells. So my oldest bombshell was 76 years old. She drove from Tennessee to Maryland to be here at my studio. Now imagine the honor I had to photograph that woman. She's an inspiration, and she's 76. She did everything, like all the poses, and she went through the whole experience. She absolutely loved her images, and she highly talks about it. So if this woman can do this, anybody can do this. So it's not about shape. It's not about any of this. We just put too much, we live in our heads too much. We shouldn't do this, and that's my message. So love your body, love who you are today, because today is guaranteed. We don't know what tomorrow is. So live your life with living something positive, not only for yourself but for others that look at you. They will see that glow, they will see that confidence coming from you. And it comes step by step. It is a journey for many women, but we all can get there, and that is never late to get there.
I love it, by the way. And I'm going to ask you about your podcast because you've now gone from behind the camera to actually having a conversation. But before we do that, I think this is a perfect segue into a segment we have here called Today is My January 1st. Now, for those folks who tune in every night at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you know what we're about to do. You can go ahead and say those magical words. Today is my January 1st. Happy New Year to you, by the way. And for all the new folks who are tuning in for the very first time, welcome to the Happy Entrepreneur Show family. We appreciate you allowing us to be a part of your broadcast or a part of your streaming this evening. Today is my January 1st is our personal mantra. It represents a fresh start. It represents a do-over. It means our past, no matter how dark and gloomy that past is, or how bright and sunny that past is, the past no longer equals the future. And so my question for Daisy on the other side is really twofold. Number one, when you hear those words, today is my January 1st, what goes to your mind? And number two, was there ever a time there was a setback? Maybe her life was perfect, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know. Where there was a setback, and how were you able to bounce back from it?
My January 1st always comes with, what can I do to help? What can I do to serve my community? What can I do to help my family? Um, I live by these principles. That's how I was raised. And sometimes I keep feeling like, I should also think a little bit about my own, my own self, and what can I do to get better. And I have been working a little bit more on this. It starts with little things like taking a little bit of time for yourself, doing something that will help you to reconnect. For example, I love meditation. It's something that I never thought that I was going to be fond of, but I absolutely love this. It helps me to connect and to uh, go back on myself. So once a week at least, I am trying to do something like this. So my January 1st is to try to keep that going, and find the little things that will help me to reconnect with myself, because I know I am a giver. I'm always helping other people. It's either on my business or in my family, and I need to remember to take care of myself. Now,
How do
Shay,
you?
tell me the second question. What was the
No, no,
second
you
question?
answered the question beautifully, but I had a second follow up to that, and that is, how are you able? There's a number of folks that listen to you now, and just so you know, our audience, a lot of dualpreneurs. Some work full time jobs, and they're full-time entrepreneurs. Somebody's listening right now and saying, I'm a mom. Someone said I'm a dad. Someone said I'm in a relationship. Someone has kids and their kids have schedules. Where I'm going is they're very busy. Someone's saying, wait a minute, I'm involved in my community, Shay. I got a lot going on. Ask her this question, Shay. How is she able to take care of herself without feeling guilty when so many people are dependent on her? And that might not be your case, but that might be their question. Look, a lot of people depend on me. So how do you,
Yes.
again, it's an unfair question, but maybe you have a response. How do you find time for yourself and not feel guilty?
I had to learn that lesson. And as the more I photographed women, I understood that they also didn't have that opportunity. And even to come here, they would feel guilty. Like, I don't know. I should invest on myself. I shouldn't do this and that. But they still did, and they took good things out of the experience. So the more I watched, the more I understood. Hey, this is also something I should work on. It applies to me as well. And from that moment on, I was like, yeah, there's no need for me to feel guilty. First of all, we should look into filling our own cups as well. Otherwise, how can we do that for others? So, by taking care of yourself, you are also automatically taking care of others, because your mindset shifts when you are in a good space of mind. And positive things come from it, absolutely. And I noticed that, and I absolutely don't feel guilty anymore.
I love it, by the way. That's a perfect answer, by the way. That's a perfect answer. One of the questions I was getting to, which is you have a podcast now, and you've gone from being behind the camera to kind of being in front of it to kind of having conversation with folks. And these are real stories. These are real women. What was the inspiration to the podcast? Bombshell Tells All. And what's the mission, goals, and objective? Because I always find that interesting. Some folks don't want to be on the other side, but you're able to transcend both.
Absolutely. We are a high volume studio. And within that, it means that we speak to a lot of people, a lot of women every single day. And when they go through the process and they decide to do the photo shoot, they come here in person. So it's even more of a in-depth conversation. And the more I started listening to their stories, I was like, there's no way I have to share this. If they allow me to share, I would love to do this. And I remember I have a private group inside of Facebook that has local women, and I asked the question like, hey, do you ladies would you like to have a podcast, something to amplify your voice, to share your stories? And they were so excited about it. We even made a vote. So the name of the podcast, it came from a vote that we have done inside of the studio, of this group. And from there on, my whole mission with this project, it's definitely to share their stories, because even if we think that our stories are like, oh, my story is boring, I hear this a lot, like I don't have much to share. But when they sit here and we go into a conversation, I can totally see this going on a podcast. And trust me, every single woman that comes here, they do have this opportunity to share. And that's how the podcast has been created.
And I love that, by the way. I love how you started that. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Is needed, and you're capturing why they're there. So that if you go back and listen to, I did get a chance to listen to a few episodes, you can hear in their voice the excitement. As we come down the
Yes,
home stretch, I have a question that I like to ask often. It's one of my favorite, which is, what's one of the best pieces of advice you may have ever been given, right? And, you've been given a lot of advice. I'm sure you had a lot of mentors along this journey of life. You've read books along this journey of life. You've watched videos like I have along this journey of life. So it's kind of unfair when I ask you to bring the 10 commandments off the mountaintop. But I'm curious, if you were to step back right now and say, you know what, here's one of the best pieces of advice that's been given to me to help me be successful or help me be the person I am, what would it be and why?
find what you love first. It's important. Speaking as a business owner, I worked on the corporate for many years before I had my business, and I wasn't happy. I just, even though I was working in my field, which was logistics, that's what I went to get my bachelor's from. But it wasn't happy. I wasn't in a happy state, and I didn't feel excited to wake up and then go to work. Yes, I was doing my job. I was making sure everything was working, but I knew inside of my heart that that wasn't my future. And when I started with photography, I knew right away that that was something for my life. In fact, I have been doing this for what, since 2012. So it's been a journey. Um, I'm not gonna lie to you. There was a lot of nights, a lot of tears, and I in fact had to two little ones that I had to be, with them, and then also building a business. So it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy, but it was what woke me up, and it made me feel excited about starting a day. So once you find that passion, you can move forward, because the journey is not easy. Even if you are doing a 9 to 5, it doesn't matter. You have to find something that you like, and that's my own experience, and that's what I always tell people. Like, and another thing, when you decide to finally follow your dream, let's say if you want to be an entrepreneur and open your own business, I always advise people, make sure you have a steady income before you do this. It's important, because I don't want you to feel desperate and chasing your dream, and then suddenly it's not a dream anymore because it's so stressful. So it's important that you have another source of income. That way you are able to slowly start building up, and then when you feel confident enough, you move forward. And that's what happened to me. Even when I was doing photography with Boudoir, I was doing photography for so many years, and like I said, I was afraid of changing. uh, I was already comfortable doing what I was doing. And when the opportunity came to do Boudoir, it took me 3 years. But I was afraid, I was scared, and I was finding all sort of excuses. But one thing I knew is that I had to have a steady income. So, once those things aligned together, then I was able to jump. And today we are multiple six-figure studio, and I wouldn't be here if I didn't put all the effort from the beginning.
Wow. Congratulations to you. First of all, I appreciate you being on the show. As we come down the home stretch, a two-part question. Number one, what type of clients are you looking to work with in the studio? Let us know that again. And number two, how can they connect with you? What's the website? Where should they go? They're like, man, I want to see her work. I want to stay in this conversation. Like, this sounds interesting. So go ahead and share it with them. Type of clients you're looking for, and how can they connect with you?
Absolutely. Well, we work with women mainly. I wish that I actually, in fact, know there are some boudoir photographers that will work with men, but that's not my focus. My focus is with the women, and my bombshells are in between. I don't know. I think like between their 35s to their 60 years old. Of course, there is a variation in between, but those are the women that are finally figuring out things in their lives, like, hey, I'm tired of just hating my body, or I am ready for a new step in my life. Like I said, there's many different reasons, but they are ready. They're in a moment that they are ready, and sometimes they don't know that they're ready. So when they start following us, and looking into all those other ladies that have done their photo shoots, and seeing their transformation, and seeing how they feel amazing, so they want that feeling too. And that's the one. So when you're ready, not even like wait too long. uh, in fact, what I hear often is that people would love to have done this before. They wait a little bit too long, they overthink, they think they don't have what it takes. But we are here to help. And we're not looking for professional models. In the pictures that you see, every single person in our social media, anywhere that you can see, they have never done this before. And if they can do this, so can you. You have what it takes today.
Says so well. Let me say thank you so much for being on the Happy Entrepreneur Show. I certainly appreciate it. Love your work. Love what you're seeing. She's the only contestant I know that came on stage and had like a life-size image that displayed very, very well. I don't know, 18, 30 rows back. I could still see it. So perfect, man. So thank you for being on the show. We've got to connect again soon.
Thank you so much, Shay. There was such a great opportunity to be here. I appreciate it.
And thank you to viewers. Thank you for tuning in, by the way, because without you, well, we don't have a show. So we appreciate you showing up and being a part of us and allowing us to be a part of your home. I never get tired of reminding you every night at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, no matter what's going on in your life, whether you've been hit with the punch that you never saw coming, or maybe you're rising up, you're going to that next level of success. I believe for you, today is your January 1st. And because of just that one reason alone, I believe your best is still yet to come. Your best is yet to come. Your best is yet to come. With that being said, my name is Jay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur. We out of here. Peace, everybody. See you on the other side. Bye-bye.